Hello and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Joes+Juice. This is, of course, the live stream where we recap everything in the world of G.I Joe Classified and things in between. And today is the first live stream, and it may be the only live stream, it seems, of G.I Joe Yo-Jo June. So, of course, I had to send Tom and Mark out on the front line to do all the reporting. I'm just the man in the chair. I'm here safely in front of my computer screen. So let me bring them in. My co-hosts, of course. It is, of course, Mini Plastic Multiverse, Tom, and Tac Tac Customs, Mark. Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Joes+Juice. Is this the first one of the year? This isn't the first of the year, surely.
No, I think we did one earlier.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I was going to say, we're like halfway through the year, but we knew things would be quiet until June, as they do save quite a lot for Yo-Jo June, and they teased quite a bit for San Diego today, so we'll talk about that as well towards the end of the stream. But what we are here to do, of course, is to recap this week's fan stream, which was live earlier today, literally a couple of hours ago, and they revealed quite a lot. But as always in the world of G.I. Joes, things get leaked a little bit beforehand, so the buzz always does get pulled away from these streams because we basically see it all the day before. But it's still nice to watch the stream and get a few little insights from Lenny and the team as they're talking through. And a few little teasers as well, I think they dropped today, sort of pointing at things that we're going to get in the future. So that is what we're going to do. But first and foremost, let me just go through the housekeeping real quick. Remember Jones+Juice? What a great segment of one show we had there. Go and check out all the other long-form content on the channel, of course. There is a playlist and a podcast playlist for each one of these on the channel right now. You can listen to them audio only if you have the YouTube app and premium and all that good stuff, but they are all there on the channel. Go and check them out. Of course, if you want to support the channel, you can do so and be a part of today's live stream. Anything over £4 or $4 will not only go towards contributing towards the show, but your comment will be read out loud by our talking robot Friday, who reluctantly works any day of the week we choose. So that's the best way to get our attention today. We appreciate you, and of course hit that join button. We appreciate that, and you can become a part of the channel. Support the channel, be a part of the channel, just like these two gentlemen. Let's say hello to the chat real quick, just for the people that are watching here live. We do always appreciate that. I think we got Damien in nice and early. He says afternoon, evening all. Iron Grenadiers at the ready. A guy called Tac Tac Toys says, Yo Joe, let's go Joe. Yeah, absolutely. Bring Toys to Work said something, then redacted the message. So that was clearly some sort of cryptic sort of code that we now have to decipher. But he does say, happy Yo-Jo June. I'm still working, so I have the stream on in the background. Hopefully we don't distract him too much. Michael Davis says, Yo Joe, can't wait for these new figs. Super Turk 5000 says, hey all, hope everyone had the reveal they were wanting. Tanner doesn't collect Joes, does he? So I think he lives vicariously for us. Someone who does collect Joes is Jay, who's already done a whole recapping video on his channel. He says, Yo Joe with a triple pow. Quinn Comics says, greetings and pow to you, my friend. I hope all is well with you and the family. Excelsior. Yeah, shout out Quinn Comics. Always like seeing him in the chats. Then I know that we are now live in a comic shop somewhere. Like, it's just always a fun thought that someone's going to walk in and see us three idiots talking on a TV screen. We've got Michael Davis says, Cobra Commander all the way. We will absolutely talk about that. Christopher Allen, everybody's favourite, says, hello everybody. Hello, Christopher. Cute Cool says, never forget what they did to our boys. Yo, Joe. Scotty C says, bonjour. Andrew Clark says, hi all. That's my Uncle Andrew. Hello, Uncle Andrew. How are you doing?
Hello, Uncle Andrew.
Did you have any G.I. Joes back in the day, Andrew? I assume so. Maybe the 12-inch ones. Did you have any of the 3 3/4-inch ones? Omega also says, hello, yo, Joe. So hello, everybody. Welcome to Joes+Juice. So we're not going to wait much longer. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? So we've got a whole stream to recap. So let me get it up, ready to go. Shout out, as always, to our friends at His Tank, who do all the hard work for us, and I just press buttons. But yes, His Tank have all the recapping images up. So B-Mac joined the stream instead of Emily, but then we still had Lenny and Tony to talk us through. So let's get into it. So they started off, first and foremost, with some new digital renders, but these were things that we had already knew about. So this is the Saw Viper, and then the second one, well, I'm a little bit more intrigued about, is Dial Tone with his massive, weird looking technical equipment, but this was back in the day when analog was a big deal. Like, we're no longer analog, so I don't know if this has been upgraded to the digital age, but yes, we have Saw Viper and Dial Tone. So Tom, we'll come to you in regards to these digital renders. Anything appealing to you? Does it make you any more excited to add these to the collection?
I keep saying I keep thinking maybe I've got enough Cobra Army builders. They keep wheeling out another amazing looking Cobra Army builder, so it's hard to resist this guy when he does eventually go, because he does look pretty cool. And Dial Tone I really want. Didn't he say something about, I'm sure he said he's got a holster for his mobile phone. And I'm sure he said his mobile phone also clips into his weapon, which I was wondering.
It looks like, because the mobile phone is probably molded in the exact same way of a magazine, like a clip for the gun. So they're just using it double, like maybe they're just being idiots. But I'm trying to think. So the gun, maybe it would go there on the or maybe one of those pouches. I'm not too sure. Or maybe that's it there on his leg holster with the big analog. My first ever mobile phone, by the way, was a Motorola. The numbers were massive, and it also had a bloody aerial. That's how old we are here. My first mobile phone had an aerial. Didn't even have Snake on it. You couldn't even text on it. It was just a phone with an aerial. The type of thing you'd use if you got lost in the woods. But Dial Tone is now been classified up. He's still got that very old school looking design though. God knows what it does. Some sort of sci-fi G.I Joe tech. But yes, so the Saw Viper as well. He's definitely reusing parts from, who is it in the Joe line with all the armor tech on? He's got the little rat friend. What's his name?
Tripwire.
Yes, yes. It looks like he's reusing parts of Tripwire, right? Surely, with all the with all that sort of gear on.
The vest and things.
Yeah.
I
assume so. They've just made it a little bit more Crimson-esque, even though he's not Crimson as such. But what do you think, Mark?
Well, yeah, I like them both, Dan. I like Dial Tone. I'm sort of, my collecting habit at the minute, I'm leaning more towards Joes than Cobra, so really like Dial Tone. The good thing about Saw Viper, it's the one for me where I can actually just get one, even though it's an army builder. And the reason for that is because there's a comic storyline where one Saw Viper took on and sort of took out a load of Joes, including, I think, Quick Kick. So I'd actually be happy. It's the one time as an army builder I'd be happy just getting one. So I like them both, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could use it as an individual character in your own world-building aspect of your collecting. Yeah. But like Tom said, it would also make a cool army builder for sure.
Yeah.
But as this line gets deeper and deeper, I don't know how many things I can army build. I really don't. Yeah. So anyway, they're the two digital renders of characters we already knew was coming. Now we get into the main line reveals. Now, I have put a poll up in the chat already, basically asking you guys what your favourite reveals are from today. So there's a poll in the chat right now that just says, what is your favourite G.I Joe reveal? And I broke it down into 3 categories. It says mainline wave, which is what we're about to talk about now, what you see on screen. All these are mainline, even though the bats ain't on pulse for some reason, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we get the retro cards and the stinger, which obviously we're going to get to. But what is your favourite reveal out of those 3 categories? So far, people are leaning towards the retro cards, and I think a Mr. Cobra Commander and a re-release of the Infantry Trooper may have something to do with that. But we will come back to that poll, so please, if you are in the chat, get involved with that poll right now. What is your favourite G.I. Joe reveal out of those 3 categories? The mainline wave, the retro cards, or the Cobra Stinger, as we start to break these down. So there's the mainline wave on the screen right now, so let's go through these as they did on the channel. First one being Alpine, our rock climbing Joe friend with all his equipment. He even comes with a rope as well, which was a nice touch. They said it was 12 inches of rope. I think Lenny made a comment saying it's already dangling off one of his shelves or something like that. But his glasses and hat are completely removable as well. And I like how he's got the rope one of my favourite action men back in the day was the adventure sort of the green jacket climber, and he had like a yellow rope that went round him, so that sort of gives me those vibes. But he looks good. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I kind of thought that because this is almost on the more modern end of the spectrum than I was expecting. I thought it'd be, because everything we tended to get more recently has been in kind of in line with the old action figures in the cartoon, whereas this feels quite modernised. So I love it, but I feel like they're probably going to redo it at some point. But I'm still going to get it. Yeah, it looks good.
This is him in his full loadout. As I said, I don't know what all the Mountaineer equipment is officially called. All right, sue me. I don't know. But he has it all ready to go. Those type of movies and things give me anxiety. Do you know when people go rock climbing and like freehand people that crawl into caves and stuff? I'm like, why are you doing that?
I tell you what's giving me anxiety is those blades on his climbing hooks or whatever you call them. Are they going to be strong? Will we be able to
actually grip
the edge of a shelf
and
actually hold him up? Or will they just kind of flex under his weight?
That's a good point.
If they can hold it, it would be a very cool figure.
That's a good point, because G.I Joe have been criticised for having very sloppy, gummy weapons and accessories. So Lenny has said they are improving. It's something they're aware of. So hopefully that's a good point from Tom, that those weapons, or not weapons, but those climbing hooks are sturdy enough to sort of hold him up. What do you think of Alpine, Mark?
Well, I echo some of what Tom said, really. I'm going to go from negative to positive, which is a bit unusual for me because I'm normally in the positive. When I woke up early in the morning, I saw these digital renders, and I got to say, I was a bit disappointed with Alpine when I first saw him because, like what Tom says, we've had a lot of more classic-looking characters as of late. And like I agree with what Tom says, this looked a lot more modern. And it also, you know what it reminded me of when I first saw it? You know Hasbro's Fortnite line that's obviously no longer with us. Yeah.
Anything that reminds me of that is not a good thing, Mark.
Yeah, it looked like a character from the Fortnite line. But the more I saw the digital renders, the more I saw the sort of like, and especially when Lenny had it in the actual live stream, I thought, oh, this does look really good. This actually looks really good. But like Tom says, I think what they're going to do, my guess is, from looking at this wave a bit in particular, they're making some of the characters look modern because they've obviously cottoned on to the fact, or they've obviously come up with the idea of we can always re-release a more retro version down the line. Because obviously the retro cards, we're going to talk about retro cards in a minute, but you look at Duke and Scarlet, how classic they are. I think they've realised we can always make, a retro version later on down the line. If you look at Marvel Legends, things like that, Marvel Legends sometimes give us the character, and then later on down the line, the character we want in the uniform we want. So this might be a case of that. Like, they're going to give us an Alpine who's a bit more like classic looking with a backpack. One thing a lot of people said as well, he doesn't come with a backpack, and a lot of people are disappointed about that with him being a mountain climber. But I do like him. Going from negative to positive, I do like him. I think I've come around and I've warmed up to him, and I've actually pre-ordered him today, so he's one of my pre-orders. But I do like him. I think we'll get a retro version, and I think it will be a lot more in keeping with the classic look.
I was just, as you were talking, you were both mentioning how he's not very classic looking. I was genuinely curious. Like, my mind's eye of Alpine doesn't like instantly come. So this is the classic version. Shout out 3D Joes,
and he does look like
spin
it
around. And like, for me, it looks like the classic version. Yeah. So I'm curious to hear you both say that, because the colorway that they've chose on Alpine, if you bounce back here, is pretty
similar.
Pretty similar.
It's the green on the hat. The lack of a backpack. It was just a vague feeling I had, rather than his t-shirt's different as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something to do a homage to where he's from, I think.
Yes. I think he's like Latin American. And also the cartoon version does look a bit more like colourful. And so with retro cards, they tend to go with a lot more colour in the uniform and things. So I think the retro card version may look a bit more like the cartoon version, which tends to have a lot.
If he had a tan backpack and a black hat, they'd be pretty close. And the hat's got like black in it.
Maybe it's the cartoon look that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think
it was just a vague sense in my mind made me think they looked very modern. It wasn't like I would have looked up the...
Maybe it's just a classified vibe in general. Is like, I do think, though, his colour palette, he's going to fit nicely into a G.I. Joe display. I don't think he's like going to stand out like a sore thumb. He's just think a lot of the characters we have are very army-driven or fantasy-based, where this guy is just very much down to earth. He's a mountaineer. Do you know, like... They can't really tech up a mountaineer guy that much, I suppose. But again, just looking at it, I don't think they've moved too far away from the original look. And again, this is 1985. So where's the card? They usually show the card on here as well. Yeah, there we go. So there he is, mounting trooper. There he is. So yeah, I don't think.
So in the cartoon, he's more blue and he's more
maybe the colours are brighter in his uniform.
Maybe that's what I was.
Well, let's have a look. G.I Joe, Alpine, Sunbow. I'll have a look. Sunbow cartoon. Okay, so I've got an image here, and it is a bit blue. Again, this is just a quick Google search, but I guess the colours would be a little bit different. But
the t-shirt's a different colour as well, which makes a bit different.
Yeah, maybe. But again, it's like every action figure we get. If that character has multiple references and multiple sources in media, it's going to be different on each person where their mind goes. Like I always say, what's your mind's eye? My mind's eye may be different to yours. And I again, for me, I'm not super familiar with the character where I already had a pre-designed image in my head. So the classified, the first thing you do is you look at the retro, and I don't think they've swayed too far away. I think it's all right.
No, I think you're right. It's in line with the old figure. But
yeah.
I think my mind's eye is generally the Sunbow cartoon.
Yeah, for sure. I completely get it. But there we go. So there's let me close some tabs here. I don't want my computer crashing on me. But there he is, Alpine. Next up, I think it was the Bats. So the Bats are genuinely my favourite army builder. Like that's just the iconic G.I Joe sort of techie bat. I've always liked the bat design, so I don't mind a repaint, because what number repaint is this? Let's go through them real quick. So we've got the original bat, we've got the Arctic bat, we've got the Crimson bat. So there's 3. Have we got any more? Am I missing any?
Python Patrol
bat. Yep. So there's 4. So is this the 5th? Or the chat, the same question to you. Are we missing any? We've got the original, the Arctic, Python Patrol, and the Crimson, and now the Grenadier. So that this would be the 5th repaint of the bat. They are definitely getting there.
Was there a fire team one?
I don't know. I don't know. What's that?
To go with the vamp. Not with the vamp, with the
Hiss tank.
Off the top of my head, there's been so many, I don't know. Was that? The fire one is actually, the fire team is actually in the Hasbro Pulse sale right now. No, he's not.
He's not, okay.
He's not.
No. I didn't get that set.
But it's a good idea.
It is a good idea, but no, there isn't. Yeah. But let's go through these images. So it's basically what we know and love, to be fair. I've got no criticism with the bat. I do really like it. Love the way that you can store all his accessories on him. I think it was one of my favourite Joes of the year when we did our rankings. But now he's in the gold. They made the point to say that the gold is painted rather than molded in gold, because I know that's always a criticism, especially with Marvel Legends, when they try and do some sort of metallic. There's always a bit of swirly twirly plastic because of the way it's molded. But I actually think the gold paint here is very, very striking. Like, this is good. This is like a solid gold. And I like the clear lens as well over the chest piece. That was something that I know custom people had done, but we hadn't got one yet officially from Classified. And of course, all of those pieces can interchange between the bats. To be fair, every single accessory here can interchange between all your bats, because it's the same figure, just repainted. So if you wanted to upgrade one of your original bats with a gold pincer, you could do exactly that. You could give your Arctic back a gold chainsaw if you wanted to. But it is what it is. We know what it is. They've got 2 helmets, lots of weapons, interchangeable parts. You can store them all in the backpack. It is, of course, the Crimson Bat. So, Tom, I know you're getting bored of army figures, but the gold here, does it entice you?
It is very appealing. I kind of like your old head with the. It almost feels like clockwork, like they're kind of, you wind them up. I think it was it Hellboy 2 where they had the wind up bad guy?
Yeah, for sure.
Or might be one, I can't remember now. But it gives me that kind of like clockwork, almost mechanical vibe with the gold head on. So I like that a lot. But I am burnt out. But I have a lot of bats, so I'm going to pass on these guys. If they went in the sale, I'd definitely pick up one just to kind of have as a unique one.
I think I have 2 bats of every one that's been released so far, I think. I'm just trying to find...
I think I've got 12 of the original. And
I've definitely got more of the original. Yeah, definitely got more of them. There's the full loadout. As I said, it's everything we've seen before. Mark, what about yourself? We know you love to army build, but what about bats?
Yeah. Would you like to know how many of the original I have?
Go on, then.
29.
29, there you go. This is why he is the army building king. The crown is here. He's got Mark Tatak has a nice gold crown just to match these bats as the army building king. So okay, so you've got 29 of the original bats, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to upgrade any of them with some gold tech here?
It does look good. It does look good, to be fair, Dan. And it's, as far as I'm aware, it's not the, like Jay was saying this on his video as well. And I think he's right. This wasn't I don't think there was an original, Iron Grenadier bat back in the 80s toy line. As far as I'm aware, it's a good idea because Destro is an arms dealer, a bit like, say, Tony Stark, Iron Man in the Marvel Universe. But obviously a bad guy version. Destro's an arms dealer, so you'd expect that he'd have bats that would be part of his, kind of his own army, his own personal army. The color schemes look really good. I think I'll get some, but I'm more interested in terms of Iron Grenadiers. I'm more interested in what we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. So just to confirm, the Iron, like for me, like right now on my Cobra shelf, I've got Cobra Commander standing central, and then either side of him, I've got Baroness one side and Destro the next side, and I see that trio as being like the main villain in his trio. But now that we're getting all these Iron Grenadiers, which are Destro's own little army, ain't they? It makes me think that Destro could now be the front and center on his own shelf, and we can start to build out that world behind him. Because
we need a DIC version of Destro with the gold head.
Yes.
Iron Grenadier Destro.
That's got to come. Yeah. That's got to come. If we've already got Pimp Destro in the classified line, then the Grenadier version of Destro's got to be close. So again, we have what Mark was alluding to, the Iron Grenadiers to accompany the bats themselves. And I think this is what most people are most intrigued by. I do love the design of these, very sort of, I don't want to say Nazi inspired because that's not a good thing to be. But
Second World War.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I was trying to find a pleasant way to say that, but there's no nice way to say that at all. But I do like the design in regards to this world that we are building for G.I. Joes. I think this is one that people are excited to see. I could probably live without the bats. Don't get me wrong, I would end up getting some, but I could probably live without them. But I definitely won't be skipping these. Definitely getting a pair of these to flank Destro for the time being. I love that he's got the old school sword as well. It's like do you know, like Cobra Commander has his own sort of what's the red? His
Crimson Guard.
Crimson Guard. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Like this is Destro's version of the Crimson Guard, isn't it? Where they're a little bit more important than his infantry. So I like that sort of story aspect. And again, look how good they look as a free right there. Like you could have them as their own little army on the shelf with interchangeable weapons and whatnot. I'll try and find the loadout for these. But Tom, what do you think of these? Are you skipping these?
When these were on the league list, I hadn't seen them. I was like, yeah, I'm done with Cobra Army Builders. I don't need any of these. And then when they popped up yesterday, like the league trades, I was like, damn, I really do need these. Actually, these look absolutely amazing. So yeah, I've ordered a couple of these without a shadow of a doubt. I just think that the whole uniform and they're just the helmet, and they're just very unique looking for the line. They're kind of taking a bit of everything and turning it into its own thing. But yeah,
I like that they showed as well during the live stream that where is it? I think it was, there you go. They actually put the bat's head and the bat hands onto the Iron Grenadier. So like shows you that again. It's like, it's a kit bash, of course it is, but again, it's your world you're building on the display. And Lenny was like saying it's like a Grenadier's been upgraded or something like that. I just like the playability with these, and that looks good, like as it is, and that's a kit bash right there. But you could definitely make it work within the world of Joes. What do you think of Mark? Are you going to get 29 of these guys?
I think I will get a lot. I quite like them. I think it's actually my favourite reveal from the wave. It's initially, I went in thinking, because like I say, I'm more into Joes than Cobra at the minute. So I went in thinking I definitely want Alpine. And when I actually saw all these reveals, I thought, actually, I think the Iron Grenadier is actually my favourite. It looks really good. It's done really well. And Dan, in those promo images you were showing off, of those sort of the pics, there's a tease in the Iron Grenadier ones of what could be a gold helmeted Steel Brigade, where he's fighting that one, I thought initially, I thought, it's maybe Steel Brigade he's fighting. But if you look closely,
if we zoom in,
like
let me press that 90s enhance button from the 90s movie. There it is, enhance. We enhanced, Mark. There we go.
Yeah, and I've seen a few people saying it could be a gold Steel Brigade. So that might be a tease of something we might be having maybe at Yojo June, because sometimes later on in Yojo June, I think it was, unless I'm wrong, I think it was last Yojo June we got the 2 backpack Steel Brigade revealed right at the end, or maybe I could be wrong about that.
The character on the floor, just behind the Pulse logo in the bottom right there, is definitely a Steel Brigade character.
Yeah.
So that helmet does have elements of gold on, which we haven't currently got. So that's a terrible enhance. I'm well aware, but it is definitely a little. At least they did allude to it as well. Like they did allude to it in the stream. They did sort of say, "Oh, what's that? Is that something teased in the future?" Like, so that is definitely something we are going to see. The same way, wasn't the first time we seen one of the Arctic bats or something in the background of a post?
Yes, of Snowjob.
Yeah, so they definitely do that. They're definitely well aware, because obviously these figures are there when the promo pictures are being taken, and they just sneak them in. It's a nice little tease. I don't mind it at all. So yeah, maybe some new reveal. We're definitely getting loads of reveals at Comic-Con, because they kept talking about how much real estate they've got at Comic-Con. So it makes me think they're going to have whatever the HasLab is at Comic-Con. But again, we will talk about that. But
B-Max T-shirt gives a clue as to what the HasLab could be.
Interesting. Okay, well, keep that, and we'll talk about it at the end. But there you go. They're looking good on the table right there. And again, there's your full loadout for the Iron Grenadiers. I was just having a quick Google while you were chatting at like what other Joe characters that can be in the Iron Grenadiers. I was trying to look for the Iron Grenadier version of Deathstroke as well.
Voltar, he's like the leader of he sort of leads for Deathstroke, so he's kind of the one that we probably will get at some other point. I know a favourite of Damien's, Voltar.
Hang on, I found this page again. The magic having the World Wide Web at our fingertips does help us a lot here. So
there's Voltar.
There we go. So can we expect some of these now? Because now we've got the Iron Grenadiers. I guess a gold-headed Deathstroke is a layup, especially now we know they've painted the bats gold. That same gold that they used for the bats, like there, with a gold Deathstroke head, would look very good. Give them a cape as well, like soft good cape, maybe.
They've got to do.
They're not shy of using soft goods. We've seen soft goods in today's reveals in the form of a bag. So a cape for Deathstroke and a gold head, I think, would be a great touch. And then there's potential here for some other characters. So yeah, I like this. I love about Joe's is the sub teams that you can build, etc. Like, so, as Night Force, I think, is my current favorite team I'm building out on the shelf. But in regards to the bad guys, I'm definitely leaning towards these, because we've already got where is he? Down here. We've already got Metalhead. Yeah, so he was technically the first one we got, wasn't he? So
yeah.
Did they put? I think they put Metalhead on the table. Yeah, they did. He's down here.
They did, yeah.
There you go.
I still have an open mine.
Yeah, I haven't opened mine either. He's in the pile. Again, that's how many Joes we're getting. He's in the pile. But yeah, that already, as a little team of Iron Grenadiers, looks great. And you put a gold-headed Deathstroke with a red cape in front of them, that's a whole separate team to the sort of the blue sort of stylized of the Cobra. Do you know, like, it's a completely contrasting look. So I like it a lot. I tell you who would go well with them is the Crimson Twins and Baroness 3-pack. With
the in there, the 3-pack. Yeah.
Which I never said, I haven't got that set yet. I tried to avoid it. So
is that still available?
I don't know.
On sale.
Is it?
On sale on Pulse. Part of that sale,
I'm looking right now.
Power sale.
I did not see that in the sale. I'm having a look right now.
Yeah.
What's it? What's the pack called?
Crimson Twin 3-pack? No, or
sure, if you type in Baroness.
Okay, no, Crimson Strike Team. Crimson Strike Team.
It's
in the sale. It is in the sale. So if you've got a friend with premium, which I'm sure we all have, we can get 35% off that. That makes it a little bit more tempting for me. Because I do like that set. I just didn't want to pay £90 for it. But on sale, I may be tempted. All right, no live purchasing here on YouTube. We'll keep going through because we still have one more in this main lineup. And again, this is what I'm conflicted on. I'm conflicted because I always talk about, we mentioned it earlier, my mind's eye of characters. This is definitely not my mind's eye of Storm Shadow. But apparently, and again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the lore of this sort of version 2 of Storm Shadow, he is now a good guy. He now works for the Joes, and he's got like this sort of digital camo print on top. So it is the same character. It is Storm Shadow, but a few years on, he's teamed up with the Joes, and we get this version 2 of Storm Shadow. And again, I'm thinking to myself, I don't dislike the look of this figure by any means, but within the world and the story that I'm building on my shelf, do I want to be confusing with 2 versions of Storm Shadow? I'm not sure. Do you know, for me, Storm Shadow's the ninja good, bad guy. Like, he's got a place on the shelf. Do I need...
Where do you have your Amazon exclusive Storm Shadow?
I don't even have the Arctic one.
Yeah,
I don't even have it out of the box.
Oh, okay.
Because I have sat in a box.
Oh, it's right at the back.
Because that was the first Storm Shadow we actually got in classified, was the Amazon Arctic one. And
that was a good one as well, isn't it?
Well, that was one because I knew we would eventually get the classic Storm Shadow, and since then we've got a retro carded one and a mainline one. So this is technically the 4th Storm Shadow we have gotten. If I'm wrong, again, someone in the chat can correct me. But I'm just thinking, just for me, just for my own world building, I don't think I need version 2 of Storm Shadow. Now, will I buy it? Probably. But in my display I'm building in my head, I'm not too sure. What are you saying, Tom?
I can completely see where you're coming from, but he just looks so damn cool. So I can't turn this guy down. I mean, in your head canon, he could just be just another ninja guy who is not Storm Shadow. I know a lot of people like build their displays and it's like, oh, I've got this team from this era and this team from this era. I just kind of do a kind of smorgasbord Photoshop or kind of a photo of like my favourite characters and how they look good together. I'm not too fussed whether it's... I don't like 2 of the same character on the shelf, but I don't mind having a good guy shelf and a bad guy shelf with the same character if they're on different sides at different times.
I don't mind having multiple characters. Like, just think, most of us have 2 Dukes, 2 Scarlets, 4 Roadblocks, or whatever it is in our collection. As long as they're not, I try and like categorize mine in their own little sub teams type thing. So I've got like a Private Patrol shelf, then a main team shelf. So I think if I can spread them around on the collection well enough, I don't mind having different versions of the characters. I was just, while Tom was talking, I was looking just for the retro version. Again, shout out 3D Joes for the spin around. But yeah, 1988, what a great year, by the way. What a great year. Who was born that year, I wonder. 1988 version 2 Storm Shadow. So they've done a pretty solid rendition of the classic look for version 2 in the modern era. What do you think, Mark?
Well, I have a lot to say on this one, Dan, and I'm going to be going again from negative to positive. So, like Tom says, I actually really wanted Storm Shadow version 2. I wanted the Storm Shadow as a good guy, so as a Joe. I knew of him, you know, the Arctic version, like Tom says, was kind of another version where he's a good guy. I think they've got the hood on incorrectly, though. It looks like Kenny from South Park. Like, I mean, it's got a kind of like, I'm sure the bit where his face is sticking out is meant to go on his neck, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I think you can bang on, by the way. I think I've seen other people say that on Twitter, so you're not wrong. And when you look at it, you can see the shape of the neck. So yes, I do think the hood is wrong. Is it?
How
wrong?
did they have a table?
Is it wrong on the promo? Yeah, that's what I'm looking here. You can't really tell.
I just wonder how they get it wrong so many times over and it actually...
Can't really tell.
Unless I'm wrong. I mean, it's just...
No, I've heard other people say that as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the promo images as well. I was trying to...
I mean, all the images have that look.
I just thought if it was on the wrong way, they'd have it on the right way on the table. And they didn't say, oh, it's on the wrong way.
Yeah.
In the photos, which would be a fairly stupid error to let through. It's like putting your underpants on backwards and not noticing.
Yeah, you'd definitely notice, especially when you go to the toilet. You'd notice.
So I normally put my pants down when I go to the
toilet. All the way down to your ankles, even in public restrooms.
Every time.
Go on. Go. So okay, so that's your negative, and you're not wrong. Again, it's definitely something.
Yeah.
I guess we're waiting until someone's got it in hand to figure that out for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
But moving into.
But I like it.
Yeah, moving into the.
Yeah,
positive.
I like it. I'm conflicted because again, when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed. I thought, I think in my head I'd built up like the idea of having Storm Shadow version 2 to be so much that I think it maybe couldn't meet those expectations. But I like the camo pattern. I'm hoping that we might, if it is incorrectly on the hood, we might see it on in a different way. But I do like. I really like that. I really like the 1980s version because and I really kind of. Yeah, and the artwork as well.
They should have given him a red bag. I'm looking at the loadout now, and I'm thinking they've given red highlights. Obviously, there are red highlights, but the backpack. I guess to fit the classified line, a red bag would be a bit jarring. It's like, why is your bag red?
Maybe.
So I guess that's a conscious choice. But when you just instantly look at the classic, the original, you think, oh, the bag should be red. But I understand why it's not. I'm not mad at it. It's not a critique.
But yeah, I think, and we're going to get other versions of Storm Shadow. There's a version of Storm Shadow from the video game that came out in that Operation, the video game when Classified started, where he's got a kind of arm of tattoos. People clamoring for that, or they were clamoring for that. It's probably the only design from the video game people actually want. So that probably will be coming. There are other versions of Storm Shadow, so we're probably going to get those. We may even get a retro card version of this. So there'll be more versions of Storm Shadow coming, but I think it's all right. I do probably prefer the traditional one a little bit more, but I do want a G.I Joe version of Storm Shadow, so I'm happy about that.
My favourite Storm Shadow out of the 5 we've got, I've been corrected in the chat here. RP has correctly said, by the way, RP has said 5th Storm Shadow, as don't forget about the Snake Eyes movie. He's not wrong.
I don't count.
Yeah, we try and erase it from my memory. I've not even seen the movie, so I definitely don't remember it. And he also says, I think it's a different hood, and it's on correct, and it looks great. So that's what RP says. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So I've just, maybe I'm leaning in too much to what I've seen online that I'm just instantly agreeing with them. Again, we will hold out our judgment until someone's got the figure in hand. But maybe the hood shape is different. We don't know. We don't know for sure.
So am I the only one of the three of us who likes it?
I don't dislike it. It's not that I dislike it. It's just, it's not my mind's eye of Storm Shadow. My favourite Storm Shadow is the retro carded Storm Shadow. That's where I'm going. What about yours, Tom?
I don't think I got the retro carded Storm Shadow because I think I swapped the regular one's hands out with some bandaged hands anyway. So I think it would be the retro one, but I kind of customised it to be that.
What about you, Mark?
I like it, but I think what I personally feel, sorry anyone in the chat, but I personally feel there's little touches for me that can make it even better. Like you see the card art there, if it was even a little bit more like that, I think I'd be even happier. But I don't dislike it. But there's room for improvement in my opinion.
Again, I think they've done a pretty solid job of bringing the retro one into the classified era. A few tweaks, like again, not without a bright red bag, but again, he is a ninja trying to be stealthy in the wilderness. So maybe a big red bag and a red sword isn't the best idea. So again, conscious decisions, but yeah, I don't dislike it. I'll probably end up getting it because the promo images do make it look great. Like as you skim through here, like he's having a little stretch there. He's jumping off. I love those.
That looks good.
The claws look like the wings, don't they? So
yeah.
He looks good. So that is your full wave from them. Let me close these tabs. Again, I don't want my computer blowing up on me. There's our point. All right, there's the whole wave. So that is your full wave. 4 figures in the wave. I thought they were up in the waves, or was that a last year thing? And they've now downsized the waves again.
Is it because I've got a retro wave coming?
Maybe. There was definitely a time when we got more than 4 figures in a mainline wave.
I think they were talking about 5, weren't they? Yeah, but maybe like that's because of the retro cards.
They've dialed it down. It looks like a solid wave. Don't get me wrong. It looks like a solid wave. Yes, there's a repaint in there, but I don't mind the repaint when it makes sense to the story. And again, you don't have to buy everything either. Like, I'm definitely at the stage where I'd love to buy everything, but I can't. So I have to be a little bit more selective in my brain with the story I'm building and the display. Like I literally spoke to Amanda the other day about going to IKEA to buy some more shelving units so I can rearrange upstairs. Because I'm like, the Joes need to be rearranged. Like, I have no more room for the Joes. Like, I need to find space for the Vamp. I've got a helicopter coming this year. Like, the Joes need some more real estate. And I've got so many Joes on the floor that I need to open that I'm like, until I have the real estate to display them, I don't want to open them just so they're sat in a box, if that makes sense. So I'm excited. Don't get me wrong, I love what we're seeing from Joe's, and what they're teasing as well makes me excited. But we'll keep going, because that wasn't all, of course. As we move into the retro cards, I think that was next. Let me skim through these images. So there's the 4 figures. They're up for pre-order now. I'll quick mention, the bats are not on Pulse UK, and we don't know why. I'll throw Pulse UK on the screen real quick. So that was what I was checking. This is in the Power Day sale. So if you have got a premium account, you can get 35% off this right now, which does make it a little bit more appealing.
Makes it about the price it should have been.
Yeah. So that may be something I'll put on like a PayPal paying free and make myself feel even better about it. I don't know. I'll think about that after the stream. But yeah, let me go to the pre-orders, and you'll notice there's no bat. The bat is not there.
Is this in the US as well, or just UK?
I don't know. The question to the US guys then in the chat, there's a few of yous in there. Are the bats on Pulse UK, or Pulse US, sorry, or are they not there? If I go to the Joe classified section here.
The independents have got them in this country.
They have, yeah.
So yeah, you got Alpine, Iron Grenadier, and Storm Shadow. Why have we got no bats? Like, is there
any bats? I just didn't bother ordering.
No, I want the bats, Tom. I want the bat. Quickly, bring Bronx. Tell him I want some bats. You shout out. I did find the tab somewhere. Shout out Propland Replicas. And again, remember, in the UK, the only reason we have to bring this up is because technically, there's the bats. So the bats are on Propland Replicas if you want some. But technically,
I think Scott B said he had them as well.
Yes.
Well, the point I was leading on to is that we keep forgetting. But technically, G.I Joes are meant to be a Pulse exclusive in the UK. Like none of these independent stores get their G.I Joes from Hasbro anymore. Hasbro do not supply them with Joes. So every UK store that gets G.I Joes in has to import them in from their own overseas sources. So I have no doubts that places like In Demand, Kapow, Props and Replicas, obviously we're going to have these up at some point. But yeah, keep in mind, people, that they have to go that extra mile to make sure we can get them in our collection, because Pulse don't even put up the stuff that's meant to be exclusive to them, apparently. Like, what's going on? So, someone phone up Mr. Pulse and complain, because what frustrates me the most is no communication. Like, if there's a reason, or if there's a delay, or it will be up soon, okay, not a problem. Like, it's only a pre-order, it's not a problem. Just tell us. Like, be self-aware. But it says just ignore these type of things and instead make us rumble and moan about it on the internet, like grumpy old men we are. But yeah, no bats for whatever reason. So you can pre-order most of them from Pulse, but if not, go and support your independent retailers and get them from there instead. So there you go. Right, moving on to our retro cards. First retro card is Stalker. Was this on the leaked list, or was this the surprise one?
Surprise.
And you have word that it was something else, Mark?
Yeah, well, I heard it was actually that maybe we still may get this. I heard Rock and Roll. We were going to get a retro card Rock and Roll. We probably still will at some point, I imagine, all in green. So I was surprised to see Stalker, but a welcome surprise. I really like the look of it.
Well, let's go through all 3 of these retros and we'll talk about them as a whole. So we've got a retro version of Stalker who's on the same Stalker body, but now he has less equipment, I suppose. He hasn't got the big scarf. He's much more of a green colour palette now. And I definitely think this is probably the preferred look for Stalker, as it's much more closer to his original mind's eye. Next up, we're getting the re-release of the core Cobra Trooper. This is the infantry trooper that I didn't realise was going for a pretty penny on the aftermarket, or a little bit more than retail at least, because people are buying them up. People like Mark Tac definitely brought them up to create armies, but that's what they're for. This is the core army builder for Cobra. This is the infantry trooper. You can pose as many of these as you want next to your Cobra commander. That is their intention, and these. They seem like the same. Has anything changed? Like, they're a little bit more streamlined in.
These are they've got the command. What it was like the up-ranked one.
Yeah, the commander. Yeah, the officer.
The commander. Officer. Yeah, he had the weapon gear like that, whereas the other ones had like a vest thing.
Yeah,
So had a full-on vest.
amalgamation between the two. So okay, so we've got there's a new way to get an army builder out into the line, the retro card. Same as the previous wave, we had the Arctic Bats and stuff like. Was it the Arctic? No, it wasn't the Arctic Bats. It was the Arctic. Other guy, you know what I'm talking about, and the other retro wave.
Snowtrooper.
Yeah, thank you, Snowtrooper. So they don't mind putting army builders on this retro card, as they use it as an avenue to re-release some army builders, which is fair game. But the main event, I think, from these retro cards was, of course, the Cobra Commander. Now, they did say that this Cobra Commander has actually got intentional colorways to match the Sunbow cartoon. So this is an accurate sort of color palette for the animated series of G.I Joe. So I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that, first and foremost. Now, using a Mark Tac analogy, let's start with the negative and then move to the positive. The negative was, I think everyone was quietly hoping for a hooded Cobra Commander. I think in general terms, I think it's fair to say the community would like the option, at least, even if it's an interchangeable head that they don't like bring attention to, but they pack it in there so we know it's there, if that makes sense. But I think the community would like a hooded Cobra Commander head. So it's not to be on the retro card, but the positive is it's actually a VAC metal helmet, which is interesting. So it's not painted chrome, it's not marbleization on the helmet, it is a VAC metal shiny helmet. Lenny said you can even do your makeup in it. So it's a classic cartoon looking Cobra Commander with probably the best version of his helmet that you can probably make at that scale, with a VAC metal helmet. So that's your 3 figures in the retro wave right there. Let me throw them up on screen. I think I've got an image of all 3 cards. There I do. So, yeah, Tom, what do you think of this next wave of retro cards?
First of all, Stalker just kind of caught me completely off guard, because they said Stalker, and I was like, well, I've got him, I don't think I need a retro version. But I think this version of Stalker looks like completely on the money. It's just the tone of the green and everything is just like, it's just shouting cartoon to me. So I'm definitely in on him. And I think the other Stalker, I'd already bought a couple of extra Stalkers and turned them into army builders, so I'll probably do the same with my old Stalker. The Trooper is frustrating, because I have a lot of the Troopers, but that blue is like, again, pretty much pitch perfect. Actually, saying that, Mark, I keep looking over your shoulder and there's like a blue figure over your shoulder. What is that? Because it looks like one of those already.
I have got. There is a few. It might be the Super 7 one. Yeah, that's the.
I kept seeing it.
Ultimates one. Yeah. Okay. Your favourite.
I'm just throwing a picture up of the classic Stalkers. This is like version 1 classic G.I Joe Stalker, and as you can see, comparing that to what was the wrong image?
The retro one, retro card one.
Why have all these tabs come up? Right, there you go. Yeah, so comparing that to that is obviously, that's your G.I Joe Stalker, in my opinion. Like, that's the main. If you're gonna have one Stalker on the shelf, I think this retro card Stalker is the best sort of callback to the original look, but also still being very classified style. So yes, I agree with you there.
And then Cobra Commander. Now, I would take a hooded one, don't get me wrong, but I do have a custom hooded head on my existing Cobra Commander. So this with the back method is pretty much perfection in my mind. So I'm very happy with this. And I think the fact that they've gone with the Sunbow cartoon colours, he's hard to beat. But I hope they do a hooded version on the same body.
Well, you said earlier in the stream that your mind's eye for a lot of these characters is the cartoon. So surely if your buying habits are in line with that preference, you could have a pretty solid display here with all very Sunbow classified sort of amalgamation. Because this is the helmet he wore in the cartoon, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, he did wear the hood in the cartoon as well. So.
Of course.
I think it's pretty much. Those Troopers are slightly irking me, because to replace all my Troopers,
I don't think you need to completely replace all the Troopers. It's just they're all variations of the same infantry trooper. So you can have a few of the old ones, a few of the new ones. I can make it work, I think. How many of the original Troopers do you think you have purchased? I know you've got rid of a lot, Mark. And
I had a lot. Oh, you talking to Mark?
Yeah, I'm curious of Mark's army building.
Oh, no, I still have them all, Dan. I've
okay.
got 43.
43. So how many did you go for, Tom?
I had, like, at one point I had 10 of the Cobra Island ones, which I know were pretty hard to get hold of.
You could have made a mint selling them back in the day.
Well, you had one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did have one. Yeah.
I remember I ordered from Comics and Cocktails, and they said they got the stock in, and they said, we're only going to send you out 4 of them because there's only you and one other person who ordered more than 4. And I'm pretty sure that other person was Mark at the time.
I think it was.
The Cobra Island versions of the Troopers were very elusive. They had the red goggles, right? I think I remember.
Yeah,
and they had the so that like Cobra Island figures back in the day went for a pretty penny because they were the Target exclusive in the US. They were short stocked first in the UK. So yeah, they were interesting times. Thankfully, even with the port exclusivity now, Joes are a lot more accessible because the retailers, like the independent retailers, wouldn't choose to import this line if they didn't have confidence it would sell, because that would just be a stupid business decision. So with all these independents like choosing to import the G.I Joe lines in, that just shows, for me at least, that's just the evidence to say that this is a strong line over here. I know I genuinely, again, I don't know this for fact. This is just my assumption, but I genuinely think that the big wigs behind the scenes at Hasbro think, oh, G.I Joe's a real American hero. Why does it need to be sold in Europe? Like, take it away. It's a waste of our resources. I genuinely think that's what's happened. They're like, the UK guys don't care about that, and they've just ripped it, like, just because it's called a real American hero. And I reckon it's as simple as that. Some naive business guy who knows nothing about toys has just read it on a piece of paper going, real American hero? That doesn't need to be going to the UK. Save ourselves the shipping costs of sending that there. Again, just my stupid assumption of what I think happens behind the scenes at Hasbro, but I don't know for sure.
I think you're right. But the crazy thing is, I think they even market it as a real American hero anymore. They try and make it all like, oh no, it's not American. But that is, I can't believe it's any other reason than that they've cut short.
Again, like some of the independents, like Star Action Figures, have publicly came out and said it's one of their strongest lines, behind Star Wars, obviously, because that's their bread and butter. And again, the independents wouldn't spend the extra money because it's going to cost them extra money to import these in unless they knew they could sell them. So it just proves to me that Joe's is a strong line. There's only a few G.I. Joes that linger and go to sale, and it's usually like the variants, like the Python Patrols and the Tiger Force, because people want the mainline versions of the characters, because obviously people are not crazy like us and buy bits of everything. So what do you think, Mark, then, in regards to these 3 retro cards?
Oh yeah, I echo what Tom said. I think my 2 favorites are actually Stalker and the Cobra Commander. I really like Stalker. I've got like what you were saying a bit about having one on the shelf earlier. I have got one on the shelf, and where I've got duplicates, I've kind of taken them off the shelf, and they're kind of, sort of separate. They're in a separate, like in my world building in my head, they're in a separate sort of, continuity or universe or whatever you want to. Yeah, and so I've got kind of duplicates, but they're kind of, they're spares in that, or they're in another sort of continuity or universe. So, I mean, with Stalker, I like the classified one that we've got, and it's on my shelf there. I will get this one. He will join my sort of duplicates of like Tiger Force Flint and regular Bazooka and Mad Marauders Barbecue and so on and so forth. And I really like Cobra Commander. I really like the kind of Sunbow look of Cobra Commander. The Cobra Trooper, I do like it. It's just, I do have, like what Tom was saying already, I do have a lot of the original one. So I'm happy to kind of leave that one for other people to enjoy. But Cobra Commander I really like the vac metal, but I do think it's a good idea. I knew at some point it was inevitable they were going to re-release the Cobra Trooper because of what you were saying, Dan, it's in such high demand.
Did they mention, Mark, in this stream, did they mention that the blue of this Cobra Commander Cobra inventory builder matches the blue of the original release as well?
Well, they did say it's lighter. They did say like this blue's lighter on this retro one. I don't know if I think the blue on the original release is darker. So like the the original Cobra Troopers are dark.
So if you had like 10 of these and 10 of the other ones and mixed them around, you'd be able to spot them out just
You'd be able
via
to
the
spot
blue.
them, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for me, that like puts me off a little bit because I'd like my inventory. When it comes to the equipment and the gear, not so much. I'm not as fussy, but when it comes to that base tone of the blue, I'd like them to be uniform. So like,
But then you could have different squads. You see, within your, you
guess so.
could have like different
Again,
sectors.
there's no rules. There's no rules here.
Yeah.
There's no right and wrong answer to any of this. We're just talking out loud as
And-
collectors.
So I'm with Dan. I'd be annoyed if they're all different colours. But the thing is that if you were starting, if you didn't have any Cobra Troopers and you had the dark ones and these ones in front of you, which ones would you pick?
Yeah,
Probably
question for Mark. I'm curious what you
ones.
think. These ones.
Well, probably these ones, isn't it? Because they're much more like in line with what the classic Cobra Troopers are like. So the retro carded Troopers would be the ones I'd pick out the two. I'm very happy with my classified ones from before, but I think if I didn't have any,
do you have them on display behind you?
Yeah,
hang on.
on this shelf here, Dan, you probably won't be able to see.
No, let me
Do
go.
you want me to give you a quick?
Yeah. Let me see if I can go full screen a second. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Yeah,
Right,
sure.
me,
Probably not be able to see.
I'm just
Jamal,
again, just
can
a little
you-
tease, just a little tease for the people. Let's have a.
How's that? So can you see that there?
Yeah, we can see that. Go on, slow down a little bit. Slow down just a little bit. Go slow.
Okay.
So that's your current Cobra infantry lineup, and you got a few officers
That's
in the
right,
mix that
yeah.
line up pretty well.
Yeah. So there's a mix of all sorts of like Cobra Commanders there, Destro and Baroness.
See,
and
that
you've got
Cobra
Major
Commander
Blood
blue
front
matches
and
that
version
lineup
one
with-
Storm Shadow.
See, this is what. See that Cobra Commander
Yeah, it
there?
does,
That
that's true,
blue
that's the-
matches the old school blue, and this new Cobra Commander with the vac metal is going to
Yeah.
be so much brighter
Yeah.
in front of your old.
I
army.
don't mind that though. I don't mind that. I'm all right with that, Dan. You know, I can live with that. I see what you're saying though. It's nice to
in
have
the
a
chat.
matchup.
What is it? Snapshot review says that's a nice setup you have as well. So there are people who are
Thank you very much.
admiring your backgrounds there, gentlemen. There you go. There's a look at
Yeah,
Tom's
lovely.
background.
Thank you, Snap. Yeah.
The turtle van one side, you got a cityscape the other side. Bit of Transformers, self promoting. There
I've
you
got
go.
giant diving on the building.
There you go. Very nice, very nice. Good stuff. Oh, by the way, I do that all the time to people as well. Like I'm always like deep diving into their collection, going, "Oh, I'm stealing that pose," and oh, that makes sense there. Oh, I'll give him that weapon. So like, I'm the same. I'm always checking people's heads. Just looking at the chat real quick. Compulsive Collector says, as much as I like the original classified Cobra Commander, I'm sure I'll buy this when they do a less Sunbow-ish repaint, someone closer to the original figure for all the comics. So yeah, Compulsive Collector is on the same page as us, where this Cobra Commander, as nice as he is with the vac metal and the bright blues and the Sunbow styles, if you put him in front of Mark's army that he's already got,
He'll stand out.
the blue's going to be too bright and stand out. So like, yeah, it's a bit, I don't know, like I was saying to Tom, I want my Cobras to be uniform. I prefer the blues to be together. So will this replace my main Cobra Commander? I don't know.
Cobra Commander's lighter than the new Troopers, though, isn't he? They're not the same colour because.
I think he's like.
Why
he
didn't they
does look a
put the
bit like
two
him,
together on the table? Did they have? Is there an image of the two together on the table? There isn't, is
maybe.
there? No, they didn't do it. They should have put the Cobra Commander next to the Cobra infantry.
There he
trooper.
looks quite like he's got kind of almost verging on purple.
Yeah, it's like a purple tone to it. Definitely, I see what you're
Whereas
saying.
the other one
Oh,
is
yeah.
definitely much brighter blue. I'm pretty sure.
And he's got the
different.
light blue like collar as well. I don't.
But
get
the
me wrong,
thing is-
it's a single figure for what it's meant to represent. It's a great looking Cobra Commander. It makes sense to the source material that they are trying to create in plastic. But again, talking about our own collections here, he'd stand out in front of my current army. So like, he's not going to replace the Cobra Commander I've got right now.
Really?
But Dan, and Tom,
I don't know.
as the classified team have said, they can pull from all sorts of material. Tom knows this. There's a animated G.I Joe film called G.I Joe Resolute. The Cobra Troopers in that and the Cobra Commander in that have a very sort of navy blue looking. They're very anime looking, but so those are probably going to come up in classified at some point. So that you could replace Cobra Troopers, or you could add those Resolute Troopers or Cobra Commander years down the line to a collection. So they're always going to be giving us updates or variations that say new collectors can jump in on, or if you've got some already, you could add to. So it's probably going to be a problem we'll be encountering down the future quite a bit.
Just back to Tom's comment, being surprised that I said it wouldn't replace my Cobra Commander. This is definitely the better Cobra Commander. I'm not disputing that compared to like the Wave 1 or the Wave 2 version we got, whatever it was. This is definitely the better Cobra Commander. But I'm just thinking, if I put that one in front of my Cobras, is it going to stand out too much for me? Compulsive Collector does make me feel a little bit better though, because he says Cobra Commander's uniform is always lighter than the Troopers. It's the white belt and super light blue undershirt that make me not like this one. But I'm sure there will be another repaint later down the line. So
that's what I was thinking. He's always lighter, and the old Navy troops aren't so dark that they don't work together. I just think that blue on the other one is the blue that I would have picked if I had the choice in the first place.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree. I'm looking in the chat, I guess, just a couple of comments. Jay says 100% on Dan with the different shades of the same colour. It drives me nuts. John also says, surprised Dan isn't demanding Mark to buy some risers for those. Yeah, you definitely need some risers, Mark, all right? I'll send you some risers. We need to get those army builders on show for sure. You will be impressed how much that display looks, Mark, with risers, because the shelf will look full. That all that dead space will be gone because, like,
that's true.
Trust me, risers will change the game. I'll come round and do a DIY like just with risers. I'll bring some wood and I'll cut it all up for you. We'll make it happen. And Jay also says he only has 2 of those Troopers. He needs to step it up. He absolutely does. Right, so these retro cards, they are not up for pre-order today. They go up for pre-order next week. So again, I think there is a pre-order every single week in June, obviously, for Yo-Yo June. So today, the pre-order is all the mainline figures, and next week is going to be these 3 retro cards. So today is all the mainline figures, and then next week will be the retro cards. But let's keep going. So they showed off some other stuff. They showed off the game. I think that's the next thing they showed off. Yeah. Any comments on the game from you two before I skip ahead?
It looks fun.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks very much like that Turtles game, or kind of classic 80s side-scrolling.
I was saying to Mark before we went live, like, it looks fun and all that. I just don't have time for games anymore, unfortunately. Old man. Right, the next exclusive was this 2-pack we have never seen before. This was a shock to us all. We were all shocked and surprised to see this Mad Marauders 2-pack of Spirit and Lowlight. So far, this is another sub-team within the Joes, and we have already got one in our collection. So the only sort of Marauders version of the characters is Barbecue. So we've had just a random lone blue and green Barbecue on our shelf for ages now with no friends, but finally his friends are here as we have a repaint of Lowlight and Spirit. So technically we already have these characters. Are they essential to your collection? Absolutely not. This is a personal preference here. Are you looking to build your Marauders? Well, if you want to, you can build out with 2 more, and there's also a new eagle as well, so it's a different eagle. What do they call him? I can't remember. They called him a different name. It's not Spirit.
Freedom. Is it Freedom maybe?
No, I don't think it is.
No, maybe not.
Because Spirit and Freedom's the other one, so I think this is a new name.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so there's the 2-pack, the Marauders 2-pack, and then to go along with these 2, you need someone in charge of the Marauders, and it is, of course, the shock surprise. It is the Sergeant Slaughter that we have definitely never seen before. This is the first time we have seen this. Sergeant Slaughter with his boxing gloves. They've got to be reused from Big Boa, right? They're just repainted in blue. Just shove them in there. Yeah. So Sergeant Slaughter comes with his little minifigure again in the Marauders colour as well. So at least it's a variant figure to the previous one. So you can have your own little mini variants of these little figures. I don't know why he's taken that to war though. But you got lots of hands, and he's got his bag now. So we talked about soft goods earlier. Where's that Destro cape? Well, they can make it because they've just made Sergeant Slaughter a little bag for all his equipment and his dumbbells. Why would he carry around those dumbbells in his backpack? Nobody knows. But there he is. He's got an impressive loadout. He's probably going to cost deluxe pricing, annoyingly, because I've added all of that. We shall see. Time will tell. But yeah, we've got 3 Marauder figures to add to the collection. Spirit, Lowlight, and Sergeant Slaughter. Again, these are all Amazon and fan channel exclusives. Or at least Sergeant Slaughter is an Amazon fan channel. The other one may be a Pulse exclusive. These don't go for pre-order yet. These are up for pre-order in a couple of weeks' time. So I'll leave that image on screen as we talk about these. Tom, what do you think of the Mad Marauders? Is this a line that one you like just from the provisional, but is it one you're going to buy? That's the difference.
I should probably say I'm going negative to the positive, but I can't think of any positives. So I have no interest in this subline whatsoever. Sorry, that's just my general thing. Most sublines, I couldn't give a shit. In fact, I kind of look at these things now and I'm like, if I put this on the display, will it downgrade the display or upgrade it? And I always think a load of characters not in their classic uniforms is just going to be a downgrade in my opinion. So.
Yeah, no, I get that. Again, these are there. These ain't very, like, people definitely get FOMO with everything, but I do think these sublines give you an opportunity as a collector for a little breather. Like, you don't have to indulge.
Yeah.
You can. If
I'll
you
just come up with a positive.
Go on.
When Sergeant Slaughter goes on sale, I quite like that bag in his boxing.
Yeah, well, the original Sergeant Slaughter is currently on sale on Star Action figures for about £20. So if you do want an original, classically looking Sergeant Slaughter, you can still get them for sale on Star Action figures right now in the UK. Mark, what about you? You again, we know you love army building, but what about these sublines? Where do you lean?
Well, I mean, I do like sublines, Dan. I echo kind of what Tom's saying, though. I think if I do pick these up, I probably will pick them up, but I'll wait for probably sale times, or they'll be like, I'll get them at some point, but there's not any urgency to get them. I've got other things in the pre-orders we've seen that I'm more interested to get first. But I like them. I think the designs on Lowlight and Spirit look good, and Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, these have to be probably the longest. I think we saw these leaked in 2023 at some point, didn't we? I mean,
we definitely seen them a long time ago. Yeah, for sure.
A long time ago. Yeah. And so it's good to finally see them properly. I think they look good. I mean, there will be more Mad Marauders to come because there are more members of the team, so there will be other characters. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly who they are. I'm feeling like it's people like Shipwreck and Flint, but I'm not totally sure. But there will be more. Yeah.
Keep talking. I'll have a little look.
Yeah, there will be more. So again, they're going to be in these blue and green colors. I think they look good. I think they look good. I just think they're not essential. So it's maybe a pulse sale type job, or just further down the line. If there's something I haven't pre-ordered, if I've got a gap in pre-orders, I'd probably pick them up. But that promo shot looks nice, where there's an explosion behind them and they're walking away from it, and Sergeant Slaughter's giving one finger to the. I
can give you the list. So we've got Sergeant Slaughter, Footloose, Lowlight, Mutt, and Spirit.
There we go.
So that's your team. So that we need Mutt and a Footloose, because we already have Barbecue, and then Lowlight and Spirit come in this 2-pack. Sergeant Slaughter obviously in charge of these. These are they're all, in the original line. They were just redecos as well. It was just a redeco. I think there's a few vehicles. Looking at this list here, the Marauders had an armadillo. If I can try.
Did Mark come with Junkyard or?
I don't know. But there's an armadillo, and there may be an equalizer, a retool of the Mauler. I'm just reading what I see online here. So there's definitely some Mad Marauders repaints with vehicles as well. But again, it's a sub team. You don't need it. If you miss out on these, your collection will not be missing anything. But again, these sub teams are fun because someone may like the color preferences here. Someone may really like the blues and greens, or someone may have had these Mad Marauders as a kid and then have obviously have a preference towards them. I for myself have Barbecue because I got him on sale for like £8. So I've started the team. Do I want to continue it? I don't know. Right now, I'm probably holding my horses. I definitely have everything shown today. If I'm starting anything new, it's definitely going to be the Iron Grenadier sort of avenue rather than Mad Marauders. If I had to pick between the two in my collection right now, what would I rather have? The full Mad Marauders team or a nice full Iron Grenadier team? It would be the Iron Grenadiers. I just like the golds and the reds and the blacks more so than the greens and blues. Like, I don't like the greens and blues, to be completely honest. But they are all up for pre-order soon-ish, I think. I think that the dates are all scattered. 18th, yes. 18th of June, these will go up for pre-order. And just while we're on here, I do have an image from the man himself. So I can see Tanner in the chat says, finally a character I recognise. I do appreciate Tanner watching the stream, even though he doesn't even collect Joes. We do appreciate that. Shout out Tanner. But Mr. Sergeant Slaughter himself tweeted this tweet, all right? So you'll notice on screen right now, we've got two images. We've got two Sergeant Slaughters in a box. This first box has Sergeant Slaughter packed without his hat and glasses, all right? And then the second boxed figure has him with his hat and glasses. So why is that? Why is that? Well, Sergeant Slaughter himself says this first figure is what Hasbro sent him for approval, but he didn't approve it because they didn't have his campaign cover on his head. So of course, the trademark look for Sergeant Slaughter are his glasses and his hat. And that original figure Hasbro sent for approval did not have him with his glasses and hat. So he didn't approve it. So they had, but he says they had already released some. So that will be a collector figure. The second release of the Mad Marauders will have the cover on. So there's going to be two versions of this Sergeant Slaughter out there. So again, both are exactly the same figure. I don't think there's any differences between the two apart from how they are packaged. So it's just one of those little collector preferences, which I know some people like trying to chase these down. And will one of them be more valuable than the other? I don't know. But apparently this first version will be a little bit more rarer because it was only a short run that they made, but then it got changed to this. So this is how it's supposed to look. That is the Sergeant Slaughter approved packaged look for Mad Marauders. But there's going to be two out there. So does this type of thing intrigue any of you, Tom? Does this make any of these more desirable as a collector?
I'll happily take one of the rare ones to eBay.
Yeah, I'll be curious if it holds value for sure. What about you, Mark?
Well, I do have some, I don't, carded, but I do have some inbox Joes and retro carded Joes and things like that. So, I mean, it would have a place in my collection, the rarer one, but I'm an opener for the most part as well. So I think it depends. If I saw the closed one, I'd be happy, Dan, like, if it came in my way, but I'd be as happy with one to open
I just
as well.
like the idea of Sergeant Slaughter opening his mail, opening this and going, what the hell? I don't want to see my face. Like, and then what did he say to Hasbro? Like, no, put my glasses on.
You maggots.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that for sure. Yeah. And there you go. It worked. Whatever he said, it worked because now he's got his hat on, literally on the tip of his head there, but it's definitely on for sure. I couldn't see so in this one, you can see the bag packed.
Yeah.
But on this one, I can't see where it is. Like, is it on the bottom? Is it underneath?
Yeah, the bottom.
It's there. Look there. Yeah, just above the Mad Marauders logo. You can see it there.
Yeah.
So in the next pack, they've sort of spread it out a little bit, I suppose. I do actually think Sergeant Slaughter is right. I do think he looks better with the hat and glasses. You can see the bag in the package. Like, why did they think this was a good idea in the first place? Did they just want to be different? I don't know. Again, in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't matter. It's the same figure. I just thought it was a funny tidbit, a curious tidbit from Sergeant Slaughter himself on Twitter, posting this out to the community. So there is that. And then the last thing that was revealed was probably, did they save the best till last? Well, this is what we're about to discuss. It is the Cobra. So this is the first reuse of the Vamp that we knew was coming. But it is, of course, the Cobra Stinger and Driver. And maybe this is unfair for me to say, because I haven't actually opened my Vamp yet. It's upstairs in a box. I'm excited for it. But this looks more exciting than the Vamp. I don't know why. I love the rockets. I love the Lamborghini doors that it's got. It just looks a little bit more fun and toyetic. I don't know. I really like this. Like, this is why I need to have a conversation with the missus about redoing my display, because I need some more real estate if I'm going to start adding more vehicles to this classified line. But the very last reveal was, of course, the Cobra Stinger and the Cobra Driver, the Stinger Driver. And they said they're going to post a full unboxing video of this later this month. Did they give a pre-order date for this, Mark?
18th, I think.
Yes,
possibly.
you're right. You're correct. So this will go up for pre-order on the 18th. So we're assuming it's going to be the same price range or the same price as the Vamp. But it seems like it may come with more than the Vamp did. If we have a quick look. It comes because it comes with all the blast effects and stuff, right? Am I wrong in saying that comes with more than the Vamp?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, because the Vamp ain't had to come. And it's got the platform that goes on the back. Which
So that might
Yeah.
be.
you need more for the vamp than you need for that.
So this
Yeah.
may be more expensive than the vamp, is what I was sort of leaning towards there.
Mm.
Okay, anyway, there it is. It genuinely looks great. I really like it. I like the color palette here. I love the big rockets on top. I love the Lamborghini doors. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. This is what G.I Joe at 6-inch scale vehicles should be. Big vehicles, big weapons, toyetic, fun factor. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm looking forward to adding this to the collection. Tom, what about you?
I was hoping to avoid this one because it's just, how am I going to put all these vehicles? It does look very cool.
You're going to need another cupboard.
I've almost got I think from the right angle you could put the Punisher in front of it and it would just look cool like that. But
Yeah, good colours.
for a photo, yeah, I might have to get this one. But the fact they're doing an unboxing video makes me think that it's coming sooner rather than later. Because everything that went up for pre-order earlier was like October, I think. Whereas I feel like this is going to be like, could even be next month or the month after. Because they probably produced them around the same time as the.
Did they do an unboxing vamp video?
They did, yeah.
So you could probably figure out the time of releasing that to the time of release of the vamp, and it's probably going to be similar for this. If someone wants to go and figure that out while we're live, that would be great to let us know in the chat. What was the distance between release date of the vamp and the unboxing video? Because it may be similar for this Stinger. What's some favourite elements of it though, Tom? What do you like that they've given you all the blast effects and stuff here?
Yeah, I like the rockets and the blast effects, but I kind of wish they gave you the gun as well. Because the only thing I thought was when he pulled all the missiles off, and it could just be how it looked in the video rather than how it be in hand, it looked like a bit like wobbly, but maybe that was just the way it came across. I like the gull wing doors. I think they're cool. And the fact it's got a roof as well, because the vamp obviously doesn't have a roof.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a hell of a lot more going on than. The thing is, the roof is like. I wonder how easy it's going to be to get the figures in, because the vamp they only just fit below the roll bar.
Well, maybe we'll find out in the unboxing video that the roof is clips on.
See, they're only just in.
Hang on, hold it up again. Yeah. I guess the roll bar, it would be snapped on top of the roll bar, maybe. So you might be able to take it off. Maybe. We'll find out again. Like this unboxing video, that's the use of those unboxing videos. We find out those type of details. But it could snap on to the roll bar that's already there. Maybe.
It almost looks like something out of Mad Max, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you take off the Cobra logos, it looks like kind of something from the apocalypse.
I love I don't know why I love the roof and Lamborghini doors. Like I don't know why. Like it's just that's that toyetic feature I would have loved as a kid. Do you know, like the vamp's like very open, isn't it? Like everything's out. Oh, you can have someone hanging off or whatever. But this you can like, look, we're in a war. Close those fucking doors. Do you know what I mean? I don't want shot in the side. What do you think, Mark, of the Stinger? Did you get the vamp?
Well,
you got the vamp, right?
I've got 3 vamps now.
Oh, bloody hell. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dan and Tom, if you were looking to save space, this isn't the way. I've got some bad news for you because there's 2 other vehicles that use this design of the Stinger, and that's the Vamp 2, and there's a Dreadnoks vehicle as well that looks exactly like this. So, you know, in terms of like buying vehicles in the future, we could be buying.
Yeah, I need more space, don't I? I need more space.
Yeah. There's like the Vamp 2, Vamp Mark 2 is kind of essentially the Stinger in brown. So that's probably something we're going to get down the line. There's a Dreadnoks vehicle, which is essentially like the Stinger, but in kind of like purples and kind of greens and things like that. All sorts of neon colors. So we're probably going to get that down the line. I think it looks cool. I initially wanted Joe vehicles compared to Cobra vehicles before I saw this. Hence why I got 3 vamps essentially to sort of counter my hiss, to kind of like level up the vehicle.
Sure, they needed to. That's all the Joes have got at the minute there's a few bikes and the vamp.
Yeah. I saw the Stinger, I saw the leak of the Stinger, and I thought, it looks really good. I think I'm going to need that as well. So, so this does look really good. I do want one, I think. But I know, like I say, there's going to be other vehicles that are going to be just as good down the line. A Vamp 2, which will be this in brown. a Dreadnought vehicle, which will be this in neon colours, and they're both going to be really good as well.
Like,
probably.
I just think of the diorama you could build now. Like, obviously you need the real estate, right? But just think of the diorama you can build now with hiss tanks, stingers, ferrets, bubble troubles, the HMS. Like, the Joes have got no hope right now. They need the bloody Dragonfly quick time, because right now they're all fucking jumping on the back of that bloody ram, going, just get out of here. The ram and obviously the Vamp now as well. But yeah, the diorama you could build with Joes, I'm trying to think in my head, how am I going to display this? I don't know. But I want it all. That's the problem. Like, it's all so good.
Yeah.
And there's those rumoured vehicles, well, there's whatever the HasLab's going to be, and those 2 other rumoured vehicles that are supposed to be coming.
Well, they
later.
definitely teased, like, apart from the HasLab, they were teasing another big exclusive item at San Diego.
San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, they were like teasing.
What were the 2 vehicles? Is it the Thunder Machine and
so there's rumored, there's multiple sources that rumor it probably looks like it might be 2025 now, but there's multiple sources that rumor a Snowcat, so like a essentially Snow Jobs vehicle, and a Thunder Machine, which is the Dreadnought's vehicle, both coming in classified at some point, both going to be around the possibly £200 or dollar mark, so not HasLabs. And from looking at BMAX t-shirt, there's also the rumor of a HasLab, which would be a flying vehicle, a Cobra flying vehicle, which would counter the Dragonfly. And if you want to know what it is, I'm happy to tell you.
Yes.
So the rumored Cobra vehicle is the Rattler, which is essentially like a Cobra jet, with Wild Weasel, who would be the pilot.
This is the HasLab.
The HasLab, yeah.
I'm trying to find.
And is that what you're saying? The teaser was on the t-shirt.
Yeah, well, BMAX t-shirt has got had the Rattler kind of logo, and probably at San Diego.
Wouldn't that be too on the nose though for him to wear a t-shirt for a live stream?
Well, I don't know. Yes, but people are sort of Joe experts and things in the Facebook groups. Things are sort of alluding to that's probably what it is, and there has been a rumor a long time that it's going to be a Rattler. So yeah, that basically.
It looks like I'm curious to see it in Legends 4, but I can tell you right now, I want it, and I don't have the room for it. These are the problems. Like, the line's so cool. Let's go through a few of these vehicles then. But for the record, the very last thing that they showed off for this was a name-only reveal, and it was Footloose. So Footloose is basically an infantry trooper for the Joes. So I reckon this is a way that they. Footloose is definitely his own character. He's his own guy. He's got his own story. But you could throw in a couple of heads here, and it
depends how modern they go. Whether you could do green shirts if you threw in some generic head with it, but which they probably do because they've done that with other characters like this.
So Footloose again is in an infantry. Let me show the actual thing. Is an infantry trooper in a generic sort of army uniform. You could throw in a couple of extra heads here with Footloose.
You know what they'll do though? Steel Brigade. They'll do some kind of alternation of Steel Brigade helmet, I reckon.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that because that's not as appealing.
Well, we got that with Clutch, didn't we? Clutch came with a different Steel Brigade helmet, so that gold Steel Brigade helmet could be with Footloose. I don't think it is because this is a name-only reveal we won't see for ages, and that gold helmet was already in the images being photographed, so I don't think it is here. But I just think this name-only reveal. It is a separate character, absolutely. I don't want the Joe guys going mad at me. I am well aware he's his own character. But you could just throw a couple of extra heads in and give us people the option to army build this guy as a generic Joe army trooper. Because we have not got green shirts. We've been saying it on this show for since the start of us doing Joes+Juice. We just need some army builders for the Joes. Generic army builders as well. Just green shirts, army men. Like this to go up against, build a big battle world with all the Cobra infantry. Yet to get it. So, you intrigued in this? Do you agree, Tom, that they should sort of lean into the green shirts aspect as well?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been wanting for a long time is a green shirts army. But it's the only reason I haven't picked up the 60th trooper because I do want that more classic looking green shirt trooper. I mean, this guy will look great, whether he's got an army builder helmet with him or not. And equally, there's loads of random heads floating around, so you could buy a few and plonk some heads on him. from other lines. But yeah, I'm definitely in for this one.
What about you, Mark?
Same, Dan. I agree with Tom. I think, Footloose would be really good. I think what they could do, again, like I echo what Tom's saying a bit. You know how, like in Legends, you had the Shield 2-pack with the different heads. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Like a few different heads of sort of different, like an Asian guy, a black guy. Kind of. Well, I guess it might be difficult with the arms, I suppose, like old, swapping stuff out. But yeah, maybe a few different head sculpts so that you could do a generic sort of troop builder along with Footloose. But yeah, I mean, I'm building the Joes so that the more Joes, the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
So cool. Okay,
Mark,
go on.
Just a quick question for Mark, because I know that when we've had characters like this before, Mark, you order shitloads of them.
Like Grunt, for example. Grunt.
Mark got a lot of Grunts. Like I'm thinking Grunt, who wasn't technically an army builder, but you bought a lot of them. Every time one of these comes along, does this mean you're going to buy like another 30 or 40 of these? Or?
I wouldn't get 30 or 40 Footlooses if he was just with that one head, Tom. But if they did do some kind of alternate head building option, I probably might. But well, I probably might. I would. But yeah, I would. But I think, like you, my ultimate thing that I'd like to see would be a green shirt. I would like to see a green shirt in classified. But I do like the idea of the alternate heads, right? So like with Grunt, the Steel Brigade head. If they did something like that with Footloose, I would buy multiple. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the last thing that they revealed on the stream, all right? So that was the stream in full. Lots of pre-orders. Just a quick recap on what they revealed. So the main line, the digital renders right at the start with the Saw, Viper and Dial Tone. The main line wave was Alpine, the Iron Grenadier Bat, and just the regular Iron Grenadier and Storm Shadow 2. They're all up for pre-order today. Buy them from your favourite retailer. What did they try to get BMAT to try and say? From wherever fine toys are sold or whatever. You just couldn't figure it out. Retro cards, a Cobra Commander with the Vac Metal Mask, Stalker, and the classic Cobra Trooper. They all go up for pre-order on the 11th of June, which is next week. And then the week after that, on the 18th, is where everything else goes up for pre-order. The Mad Marauder Steel and Low Light 2-pack, that's a Pulse exclusive. The Mad Marauders Sergeant Slaughter is an Amazon and fan channel exclusive. And the Cobra Stinger and Stinger Driver is also an Amazon and fan channel exclusive. And they did make a point to say that would be more available than what the Vamp was, because the Vamp was only a Pulse exclusive, where the Stinger is also going to be on Amazon, so should be more available. So I know in the US right now, our friends in the US are telling us the Vamp is getting hard to find. It's sold out on Pulse, and it's getting pricey on the aftermarket, where it's still available on Pulse UK. So is it in the sale? Let's have a quick look.
No, it's not, unfortunately. Well, I don't think so.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's have a quick look. Hasbro Pulse UK. Look at the Vamp. It is still in stock in the UK, but it is not on sale. So there you go. For our US friends, I do apologise, but the Vamp is still in stock, but it is not on sale. So it is £104 in the UK. So there it is. So I haven't opened mine yet, but I'm excited to open it.
Oh, it's so good, Dan, honestly.
Yeah. I think I will. After seeing the Stinger today, I do want to open it up to get a sort of sense of scale and stuff for what the Stinger is.
Yeah.
Right, so let's quickly end with what they were mentioning with San Diego. So they straight away said at the start of the stream, we are going to get the HasLab revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, all right? So we now we know San Diego is the end of July, like the 25th of July or whatever it is. So we've got 2 full months now until then, and then usually the campaign lasts about a month as well. So you've got about 3 months to start saving those pennies, people, before you're going to get charged for the next G.I Joe HasLab, I think is safe to say. I think end of August is probably likely the end for the G.I Joe HasLab. So make sure you've got the money in the bank account, because if it's a rattler, I think I'm going to want it. So just a quick question to Tom. Like, I know we don't have the space, right? I know we don't. None of us do. Like, money's always an issue as well. But if they made the 6-inch scale rattler classified up with a new character in a figure and decent unlocks and extra figures, you're going to want it, right?
No, I think I'm good on this one.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not. Do you know what? I think I was even talking about the Dragonfly. I think the Dragonfly is cool, but it only seats 2 people, but it takes up so much room. I kind of think if it was like a helicopter where you could, like, with open-sided doors and you could load out with troops, that would appeal to me more as a flying vehicle than a vehicle that really doesn't hold that many figures. and takes up so much real estate. And I didn't even read the Dragonfly. That's not saying it won't be bloody cool, because I know it will be, but I'm just. I'm not sure I'm that bothered about air vehicles.
This is out of box. The wings sort of turn. It's got a seat in the back for a gunner as well, and it's got its own gunner sort of pod. Like the classified version, they may shove 2 seats in there for the pilot. I don't know. Mark, what about you?
Well, I think it looks good, but I have to sort of agree with Tom a little bit, Dan, in that so I've got a few Vamps. I've got my Hiss tank. When I got the Vamps, I've been playing with my Vamps and Hiss tank like regularly, but I don't play with flying vehicles that much. If I'd have got the Dragonfly,
walk around your room going.
I know, I want to, but it's so heavy. Like it's so heavy.
I'm going to annoy the shit out of Amanda and Teddy when I've got a helicopter. I'll be going all around my house.
Yeah, I want to do that, but it's just a bit exhausting. And I mean, I would feel the same way with the Rattler. As much as I would want it, I don't think I'd play with it enough to feel value out of it. Whereas, like I say, with the Vamps, when I open those, until I had the Vamps, the Hiss tank sat kind of stationary because I had nothing. Like you were saying, Dan, I had nothing for it to go up against. Yeah. When I got the Vamps, I was interacting and playing with them because I like the fact it's something different to figures. It's world building. It's something you can kind of like play with alongside the figures. So I really liked that. But I as much as I would like this, I don't know I think it may just sit on a shelf if I got it. So for that reason, I wouldn't feel like I'm getting enough out of it. But you know what? They're going to show it at SDCC. It's going to look amazing, and it's going to make me want one. But I think I'll hold out.
I feel like we're on the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, where we're like, it looks great. It looks great. It's going to fit into the line, beautiful. But I'm afraid I'm out. I'm out on this one.
It's definitely going to be whatever it is, whether it's this or something else. If it's like a case of like, I don't really have the space, or it's not even just that. I was saying to Mark the other week, it's like a lot of the times when I'm writing stuff now, I'm thinking of photos, and it's like that's big, and it's not that easy to photograph an air vehicle as it is a land vehicle in the space that I have to photograph with the kind of dioramas that I'd have to work with. So that also puts me off to some degree. But whatever it is, the 6 weeks or whatever it is for a HasLab to run through is going to be a tough 6 weeks to say no for.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's quickly run through those other vehicles, because they did make it sound like, apart from whatever the HasLab is, they had another exclusive, because I think BMAC definitely used the terms like wait until you see the next exclusive or something like that. So like, I reckon we're going to get a HasLab plus another vehicle or something showing off at San Diego. So you said, Mark, first the Snowcat, right?
Yeah, so there's kind of an ongoing rumor within the communities that, yes, the Snowcat and the Thunder Machine are coming at some point, whether it be 2024 or 2025. So, yeah, this is strongly, strongly rumored.
Okay, so let me just throw up some images just so people can see what we're referring to. So on screen right now is the Snowcat. It's an Arctic vehicle, of course. And if you want to see what the loadout is out of the packaging, there you go. So it's like a sort of partly treaded vehicle with it's got a sledge on the front, I think, as well. But yeah, there it is. Who came with it? What character came with it? I'm trying.
Probably what's his name? Snowjob, I think.
Yeah, I would assume so. Driver includes Frostbite.
Oh, Frostbite. Okay.
G.I Joe driver and Frostbite. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and Thunder Tank. Let me find the Thunder Tank as well, because this looks more interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the Thunder Tank, which let me zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're dealing with. So there's the Thunder Tank, which already looks more interesting as a vehicle. Just think of the Marauders we've got right now with the Dreadnought, that we've got right now. We've got Torches on his way. We've already got Buzzer, Ripper.
Yep.
Nogahide. Zartan, Nogahide, Zartan's sister,
Zorana.
We've got loads. So that, again, this is like a whole separate subline already with the Joes, but they're a little bit like Tom said. These are definitely Mad Max inspired. There's no doubts about it. These are Mad Max inspired characters, and the vehicles are as such. So let me zoom in again now to this vehicle, because this looks epic with a 3D spin around. Look at that. Look at that.
It's epic.
So it's got
I think that makes, for me, knowing that these two are probably coming, the Rattler is an even harder sell, which is what I said when they announced the Vamp. I said it does slightly take away from the HasLab in that maybe other vehicles can come outside of that, and then you kind of it's hard to find space for all.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
You can shove it in, you can shove it in your closet and get it out when you want to do a setup or something.
Do you know what I have in my cupboard right now? I have a Super 7 Turtle van in my cupboard right now. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that. And I could probably buy.
You've got Turtle to your left or right.
So look, it's a great shelf. Like I've got some great. It holds some items on top, nice and sturdy. Yeah, like space is definitely an issue because in my head I have future plans to have a bigger display space, so I don't want to miss out on the items that come out now, which I think in the future I'm going to have space to display. So right now, do I have space to display all this predominantly? No, I don't. Like that's the reality. But I'm in my forever home. I hope one day me and Amanda can renovate and maybe get some more space. She doesn't want kids, so fine. If we're not having kids, I'm having a bigger display space. And I can display all this stuff one day. So I'm buying in preparation for the display I'm going to have, if that makes sense, rather than backtracking in the future. So again, I'm just justifying my stupid purchasing decision. Trust me, I'm self-aware. After this stream, I log in with a Zoom therapist. Don't worry. But there's no doubts the Thunder Tank doesn't look good. Well, okay,
it looks amazing. So, and Dan, while we're talking of vehicles,
yes,
just if you can put in on that one, put in Vamp Mark II and also Heart Wrencher and vehicle, because Heart Wrencher is like a Dreadnought as well. So that will show you the Dreadnought version of that of the Stinger. And the Vamp Mark II will show you the G.I Joe version of the Stinger as well for future vehicles to worry about.
Okay,
which they'll no doubt
Heart Wrencher as
Heart Wrencher's a female Dreadnought. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the vehicle, but it should come up. If not, don't worry. But
I can see the character, but no vehicles coming up. Is it a Stinger?
No vehicle? So essentially, there's a neon-coloured Stinger which she comes with in the original line, but Vamp Mark II.
Hang on, I'm looking. I can see a slight image of her. Okay, I found this on the internet.
Vehicle Dreadnought Ground Assault.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So there she is. Heart Wrencher.
There you go. That's something else they'll probably make at some other point because it's the same mold, maybe slightly different colours.
So just a neon version of the Cobra Stinger, essentially.
A neon version of the Cobra Stinger, but obviously it might.
Got everything going. Has that got the doors on the side as well?
It's got the doors on the side. Yeah.
Right, and what else am I looking at? The Vamp 2.
Vamp Mark II. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This looks good. Tom's gonna want this one. Okay, Tom, I'm about to show this picture, and I know you don't have room, but you're gonna want this one, right? It's basically everything we love about the Stinger, but for Joes.
In G.I Joe. Yeah.
It does look good. Man, I'm not buying 4 of those. This thing is huge.
We could race them. We could buy the Vamp 2, we buy the Vamp 1, we'll have the Stinger, and we'll just race them one day. We'll meet up somewhere and roll them down a massive hill. It'll be great. We'll have a great time.
It's like when I made this thing, it's like I didn't have space to store this thing.
That is a custom Mezco scaled turtle van, by the way, that he has. Let's have a look at the images here for the Vamp part. So this is Vamp 2.
Mark 2, yeah.
So this inevitable, would you assume?
I think
comes
so.
With another
I
clutch.
think they've got to make this at some point, yeah.
It comes with another clutch.
So it's like more desert coloured there, but then the actual thing looks brown.
Yeah.
It would look better in desert colours.
It looks good. I'd buy it. I love the weaponry on top as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there is 2 shades, look. There are 2 shades.
There's 2 shades.
Oh, there's a little write-up. Let me read the write-up. I need to look closer to my screen. It says the original Vamp Mark II was sold in stores from 1984 to 1985, included clutch in a tan clutch. The same Vamp Mark II was reportedly re-released via mail order in 1988 and did not include clutch. Years later, has produced a light tan Vamp Mark II that was based on the 1989 Tiger Sting. Visit the. So yeah, these 2 were basically released in some format. Back in the day, you get a brown and a tan. So
they do look good.
Yeah, that's got to be coming at God knows when, but that's got to be coming at some point.
See,
if they're sensible, they'll space these things out.
And there is it sort of looks like a desert version of Clutch.
Yeah.
What desert subline we got? Have we got a desert subline?
Not officially. I don't think officially, but there are characters. Like there's a Cobra one called the Desert Scorpion. There's obviously that Desert Snake Eyes we have. There's Dusty.
We've got Dusty and Snake Eyes that are definitely sort of desert themed. Anyway, that looks great. That was any more vehicles to look at?
That's the only two I can think of that are kind of like the Stinger. But yeah, Thunder Machine and Snowcat are heavily rumored from multiple sources. Could be 2024, probably maybe 2025, but they are supposed to be coming.
I'm just going to look at the whale real quick, right? Because this was my early prediction for the HasLab, and I did ask Emily and Lenny this myself in January when I did my interview. I basically just went, G.I Joe, like Land, Sea and Air. It's in the title of the song. We haven't yet got a vehicle for the sea. Could the whale be a possibility? I'm trying to look for my digital 3D spin around of the whale here. Here we go. Let's have a little look at that.
That'd be good.
That's cool.
Like hovercraft for G.I. Joes. Like that. This is a vehicle that I want because it's going to make like Amanda's going to notice that I smell better and my hygiene levels have went up because I'm going to be bathing every single night. I'm not even joking. I'll be in the bath.
You fit in the bloody bath.
I'll be in the Amanda. I'm having another bath. She'll be like, "What the hell?" She's going to think I'm in that bathroom doing something else. But I'm not. I'm playing with myself. But I'm playing with the whale. But yeah, this is what I want in G.I. Joe form.
Yeah, this would be cool. The
hovercraft.
I want a Mobat, and that's
Mobat. Yeah.
Like me.
The tank. The Mobat's the tank, right?
Tank, yeah. Okay,
let's look at the tank. We'll look at the tank to see us out. But yeah, that will. I want the whale. I don't think it is his tank. I do the HasLab. Sorry, I do think Mark's probably more correct, leaning into the Rattler to sort of combat the Dragonfly that we got last year. I think the story that they're trying to tell that might make more sense because we're yet to get, apart from the Trouble Bubble, if you count that as an air vehicle, we haven't got an air vehicle for the Cobras. But yeah, let's look at Mobat real quick to see us out because that is another vehicle I'd want. Whale and Mobat, definitely two things I want.
And of course, just going slightly outside of the realm of G.I. Joe Classified, Ramen Toys are doing loads of 6-inch tanks, which they're going to be shown at Joe Fest. So surely that's going to entice Hasbro in some format, but yeah.
Joe Fest is soon, right? Joe Fest is this month. I think Compulsive Collector was saying he's going. Yeah, okay, cool. Jay says, will it float? Yeah, Jay's ready to do his review. Jay, if you do have a water-based action figure, Jay will film and add it to his review. But here's the Mobat, sorry, I kept getting confused. Motorized bat. It's not actually motorized at all. Or was it? Was it motorized? No, it wasn't, was it?
Yeah, it was. The old one was, yeah.
You put batteries in it and the treads turn?
It did move, yeah.
Well, didn't Lenny say that it's got a lot of power or something like that? He said the phrase, it's got a lot of power. Does he mean battery power? Does he mean motorized treads? Does he mean the Motank?
Okay. The Rattler T-shirt is almost like. Do you think it's too full on? Do you think that's like people think it's a Rattler, so we'll put someone in a Rattler T-shirt?
G.I. Joe is definitely one of those.
I think it's a Rattler.
Well, I just think the G.I. Joe community, like, do you know with Legends, I try not to be too obvious with the leaks because I'm trying to be respectful and whatever. But the Joe team don't seem to be bothered about all the leaks that are out there. Do you know what I mean? They're just like, no, to say what the fuck you want. Like, the leaks are everywhere. And they're very self-aware of that. And they even make comments of that in the live streams. I think with G.I. Joe being a Hasbro-only brand, the leaks don't hurt them as much because it's a Hasbro brand. But with Legends, because it's attached to Marvel and Disney, leaks can sometimes hurt the brand because of exclusives and stuff like that. But I think with Joe's, they're just like, they let the community just go wild. So I think they've very much got their ears to the ground and to the community, and they know we probably already guess or we know what's coming. So them being obvious wearing a t-shirt may just be their little way of saying to the audience, look, we know you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know you know.
Yeah.
This is coming, yeah. So maybe. Or it could just have been the t-shirt.
Question, you both.
Go on.
But two quick questions. Do you think if they're revealing the HasLab at SDCC, it means that we're going to get less of figure reveals. And secondly, if there's one figure you could pick that would be revealed at SDCC, what would it be?
I think the way they were talking today, they were saying they've got the prime San Diego Comic-Con slot for reveals. So I think that's because they're revealing the HasLab. They wanted the best slot for Joe's. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to reveal a lot. So I don't think them revealing the HasLab means they won't reveal a line of figures. I think they'll still reveal a wave. But I think it'll be a lot of the name-only stuff that we've already heard about, just shown digital renders and stuff. So I think we'll get a nice pile of digital renders, but it'll be characters we knew were coming maybe. Or maybe stuff to complement whatever this HasLab is going to be. And in regards to figures that I still want, what was the hypnotizing villain called?
Crystal Ball.
Crystal Ball. I still want him. Yeah. I just think he's a cool, toyetic guy. But now, after today's stream, do you know what has jumped quite high on my list? The Iron Grenadier Destro with the gold head and the red cape. That has jumped quite high to my list now. So there's my answers. What about you, Mark?
Well, yeah, I think I second what Dan has said. I think they probably maybe we're going to see stuff spread out between Yo-Yo June and SDCC, like Dan says. I quite like to see Airtight. I always Airtight is one I'm hoping to see, but I think he's off, in the far future. But yeah, I'm liking the Iron Grenadiers. I think we probably may see a lot of SDCC, but we've still got a lot to go with Yo-Yo June. But yeah, how about you, Tom? What would you like to see then in terms of revealed?
Well, I still think top of my Joe list is Law and Order.
Okay.
Yes.
That's up there, and I can't wait till they do that. But aside from that, I'd really love them to just do some crossover figures with other Hasbro lines, like some mask figures or some visionaries or something that would fit in with G.I Joe, which I think Mask would do better.
There's no reason why they can't do Mask. It's a Hasbro owned property.
Yeah.
I just think
I felt like they were teasing it last SDCC, but then I think I was reading too much into things because I haven't felt that since. But we'll never know.
It took a lot for the Hasbro to get behind Joe's. Just think how long it took us to get to this stage where we're getting vehicles. It wasn't until the success of that first HasLab where they made like £7 million from the press of one button, ending that HasLab campaign, that I think the Hasbro higher-ups went, oh shit, the Joe line is successful and we've got a bigger profit margin on the Joe line than an Eva line. Like, okay, do a little bit more. Make a few vehicles. I think Mask, that it would, if they were going to do something mask-wise, it would be very subtle first because you'd need people internally to be powering it and soldiering that on. So maybe a crossover would be the best way to start that. Cross it over with a line that they know is already successful, especially when it comes to the vehicles now doing quite well. Mask is all about vehicles, isn't it? So I'd be intrigued to see it, but it's definitely aged out on a lot of people. Like when you hit a certain age, you don't know what Mask is.
But that could be that's the same could be said of G.I Joe.
I think Joes have been rebranded and lingered in pop culture a lot more than Mask ever did. We've got I know people that know G.I Joe because of the movies with The Rock.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Where Mask hasn't really had any other forms as pop culture, and also the G.I Joes, they tried to rebrand the toys even throughout the 2000s because of the movies and stuff like that. Where Mask. Just when the toy line ended, there's nothing else. So I do think there's a generational gap for Mask that may not be giving Hasbro confidence. So the best way to do it would be a crossover with a line that they do have confidence in. So I'd love to see it. Just going back to the point that you were talking about where a lot of the original characters, shout out Bring Toys to Work. Michael, I think, is working hard in the background, but hopefully he's still lingering. He put a list out of characters that in the first four, there's only a few characters in the first four waves of G.I. Joes now that have not been classified or given the classified treatment. And that's Flash, Short Fuse, Zap, Ripcord, and Airtight, like Mark was saying. So there's 5 characters from the first 4 series of G.I. Joe from the 80s that have yet to be put in the classified line. So it's got to be a matter of time before we get them. Ripcord we know is coming, right?
Great Pulse-Con box set.
What's that, sorry?
That would make a great Pulse-Con box set. Just finish out those.
Yeah. I think Ripcord's been announced name only though, right?
Yeah, in the Dragon.
Ripcord in the
Yeah, we get a Night Force version of Ripcord, so we know after that we get a regular one, but they're waiting for Dragonfly first. Airtight, has he not been announced there at all?
No.
Flash, Short Fuse, and Zap. I don't think those names have been announced either, but they're the 4 or the 5 remaining. Flash, Short Fuse, Zap, Airtight, and Ripcord. Michael says are the only 5 figures left from the mainline vintage series is 1 to 4. So that's a matter of time. And looking in the chat, Phil Jones, our good friend Professor Detective Hill phones. Phil Jones says, Mask, I am in. See, and Phil's a very old man. He's a very, very old man. So he just proves our point of having to be a certain age to know Mask. I'm aware of Mask, but it wasn't something I was like super into as a kid. But I'm aware of it. I was definitely the tail end.
I mean, it would have. I've probably ended the year you were born.
Yeah, like it's a vague memory, but I was definitely more Turtles and Power Rangers. Like, again, G.I Joe, I only know G.I Joe so well through Action Force and Action Man. Like, Action Man was my gateway to Action Force, and the G.I Joe re-releases and the Action Man is why I even know about G.I Joe. So, yeah, Mask is even more of a faded memory for me. But
I'm surprised Michael didn't mention we had no new Cobra La reveals or anything.
Well, I think Michael's got an inside man that's told him just be patient, he's coming. So I think, because I think obviously the one that's been revealed, we haven't seen yet, but those leaked images went out, didn't they? I think those leaked images have been around, so we know they're coming. They're not just going to do one of the Cobra, are they? They're gonna do that team. So patience will be rewarded there. Phil Jones also says, I'm very old. Boulder Hill was an awesome playset. Banging theme tune as well. Right, let's just have a look. Just for the people out there that are watching this now, going, what the hell are they on about?
Phil's a year older than me, and my brother had Boulder Hill, and he had Rhino.
All right, Mask.
Yeah, I had Boulder Hill as well. And Rhino. Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to show what you're referring to on screen, so the chat, our young people in the chat, know what you're talking about.
I can't see them making a 6-inch Boulder Hill. I mean, it's not quite as insane as some Joe vehicles could be, but it would be up there, that's for sure.
Oh, the box looks massive, by the way. So I've just found this. Just found this website. It's not even an English website. Look how big that box is.
Yeah.
It's a mountain with like a garage below it. So
yeah.
Ah, Super 7 would love that idea. They've already made a mountain, ain't they? There you go, Boulder Hill. That is a massive box. So was that like the Grail Mask item?
Yeah, that was kind of the top. That and Rhino.
Like the Technodrome of my generation.
Essentially, yeah.
But you gotta remember, Mask figures are like this tall. It's like tiny.
There you go. So that is Boulder Hill from Mask. And Mask is all about vehicles as well. So, and Joe's and the Mask have crossed over in the past as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch. There's definitely a lore that they can lean into there. Boulder Hill is easy as one of the best play sets. It's basically a hidden fortress in the mountain, says the Nerd Alert. And also Damien says Christmas 1987 for me. So there you go. See, there are people out there. There's people out there that would love it. Bit of nostalgia. It drives our collecting sort of path sometimes. All right, good stuff then. Let's end real quick with your favourite reveal from what they've shown today. I'm going to say the Stinger. I just really like the Lamborghini doors. I know they're not Lamborghini doors, but that's what my brain thinks anyway. Tom?
It's got to be Cobra Commander.
Mark?
Yeah, I think Tom makes a good point. I you both do really, but I think Cobra Commander. But just to be different, I'll say the Iron Grenadiers.
Yeah, the Iron Grenadiers are definitely
good one as well.
They definitely make me want to rearrange the display a little bit now. Like, okay, if we're gonna get more of them, I need to rearrange. And then the Nerd Alert says, wow, Dan, I didn't realise there's only a handful left from the early series. Zap would be awesome. Yeah, only 5 left from the original vintage line that still need to be put into the classified thing. And Jay says there was a Boulder Hill at Toy Fair. I didn't see it, Jay. I did not see it. And Jay says the Cobra Trooper, as I need some. Damien says it was the Grenadiers for him. The Nerd Alert still talking about a mask. He says, I had one mask toy. It was the Rhino. So cool. Did you have the Rhino? I'm assuming it's a vehicle of some sort rather than
it's like
big truck.
Truck front.
Yeah. Mask in Transformers as well, in the Transformers Prime series as compulsive collector. Again, so much crossover potential. Right, let's end the stream by looking at the poll to see what you guys thought of today's reveal. So I asked a question at the start of the stream. What was your favourite G.I Joe reveal based on the 3 subcategories? With over 100 votes. So thank you very much for everyone who joined us live today. And if you are in the replay crew watching this after the fact, let us know in the comments, all right? Say hello, so I can say hello back at you. And thank you for joining us. With 42% of the vote, the retro cards have been the audience's favourite reveals. And I'm assuming the re-release of the Troopers and also that Vac Metal Cobra Commander will please a lot of people. The Stinger only had 21%, and coming up close behind with 37% was the mainline wave. So I think overall it was a good showing from the Joe team. And I think for the rest of the month now, I'll end the poll, by the way, so we know the retro cards won the poll. But I think for the rest of the month now, the rest of Yo-Joe June will just be sort of more insight into what they've already revealed. Maybe an odd digital render here and there. But it seems like they're saving it for Comic-Con now. It seems
SDCC,
like they're saving it for Comic-Con. And we are, like, June and July are definitely, like, Comic-Con season. Is like, we start to see some of the exclusives leak because we know there's going to be an exclusive, the same way that we knew that this... What was last year's exclusive? The 3-pack we talked about earlier, right? With the Baroness?
Yeah, I think so. Was that?
Yeah.
Chuckles was exclusive as well.
Was it Chuckles?
Oh, yeah,
Chuckles.
it was.
It was both.
It was both, yeah, for sure. So we know we're going to get an exclusive item. We know we're going to get another vehicle, maybe, another HasLab. So I think G.I. Joes are saving their big reveals now until San Diego Comic-Con, considering they have the main slot, it seems, for Hasbro, which I assume will be Saturday afternoon. So maybe that means Marvel Legends will be earlier on the Saturday rather than later, because usually Legends or Star Wars have the last one. So we shall find out.
Isn't Stardust the rumoured to be the exclusive?
That's PulseCon.
So
but do they do
Chuckles.
Isn't that what they did last year?
Yeah, no, it is. PulseCon and San Diego sort of blur together, don't they? Because they reveal them at San Diego, and then you get one of those stupid barcodes that you can scan and pre-order it, and then it's the Pulse exclusive. That's what Chuckles was. You pre-ordered the barcode at San Diego, but it was a Pulse exclusive, not a San Diego.
Interesting.
So is it Stardust? Did you say Stardust?
Stardust, yeah.
All right.
Raptor is meant to be the has had the SDCC exclusive.
All right, good stuff. Well, I'm sure we will be back then. I guess we will be back next month to recap all of that, and of course we'll definitely be back for a whole stream when the HasLab gets revealed. Whenever that, we now know that's going to be San Diego Comic-Con, so we will be back in July. That is for damn sure. But until then, you can still follow all of us online. We're all very active. If you watch Legends and Liquor, I'm sure you'll see us pop up. But in case you don't, let's find out where you can follow these people online. All links are in the description, by the way, so no excuse not to follow these two. But Tom, you can tell them yourself.
At Mini Plastic Multiverse on Instagram. I am also trying to push my Facebook page a bit more, so I'm also on there.
I will put it into the description for you then, not a problem. And Mark?
Well, on YouTube here, Tac Toys, and Joes+Juice with yourself and Tom. And like you say, July, Dan. We will
absolutely be back with the reveals and the HasLab. Again, July at San Diego is like the Christmas of toy collectors.
Absolutely.
San Diego and Toy Fair used to be like the Christmas for toy collectors, but Toy Fair has been a mess since COVID. So San Diego is what we cling on to. So yeah, should be good. Should be good stuff. But we will be back in July. Remember though, there is a whole playlist, there is a whole podcast on the channel for all previous episodes of Joes+Juice. We pop up when there is Joe news to talk about, and you can listen audio only via the podcast tab on my YouTube channel. And I'll make sure I put all the links in the description for both Tom and Mark. Please go and give them a follow, and we will be back in July. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat who stayed with us. Phil Jones, the Nerd Alert, Damien, Jay's Toy Collection UK, Tanner's lurking, Bring Toys to Work was in early as well, Michael Davis, Compulsive Collector. We see you, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on the replay, let us know in the comments below, and we will see you on the next mission, I suppose. All right, bye bye everyone.